pimps in the crib, ma. Drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. When the pigs try to get at you, park it like it's hot, park it like it's hot, park it like it's hot. If a nigga get an attitude, pop it like it's hot, pop it like it's hot, pop it like it's hot. Got the rollie on my arm and I'm pouring Sean down and I roll up that sweet cause I got it going on. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's drop it like it's drop it like it's hot. 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 Drop it like it's drop it like it's drop it like it's drop it like it's drop it drop it drop it. Run the pimps in the crib, ma. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
I'm a nice dude with some nice dreams. See these ice cubes, see these ice creams. No dribble gotcha. $1 million boat. That's whiter than what's spilling down the throat. Phantom, still real like he said. The interior like suicide was red. I can exercise you. This is what he said. She won't do
This false witness. Witness love.
season when love runs high. In this time, give it to me easy and let me try.
Drugs so the police can bother me. They gotta run drugs so the police can bother me. They gotta run drugs so the police can bother me. They gotta run drugs so the police can bother me. They gotta run drugs so the police can bother. They gotta run drugs so the police can bother me. They gotta run drugs so the police can bother. They gotta run drugs so the police can bother me. So the police can bother. They gotta walk us so the police can bother. They gotta walk us so the police can bother. They gotta walk us so the police can bother. They gotta walk us so the police can bother. They gotta walk us so the police can bother. They gotta walk us so the police can bother. They gotta walk us so the police can bother.
Let me try. What's your name? Who's your daddy? He rich. Is he rich like me? Has he taken any time to show you what you need to live? It's the sign of the season for love.
We used to be together, every day together, always. I really feel that I'm losing my best friend. I can't believe this could be the end. It looks as though you're letting go, and if it's real, well, I don't want to know. Don't speak, know what you see, so please stop explaining. Don't tell me 'cause it hurts. Don't speak, I know what you're thinking. I don't need your reasons. Don't tell me 'cause it hurts. You and me, we used to be together, every day together, always. I really feel that I'm losing my best friend. I can't believe this could be the end. It looks as though you're letting go, and if it's real, I don't want to know. What you see, so please stop explaining. Don't tell me 'cause it hurts. What you're thinking, I don't need your reasons. Don't tell me 'cause it hurts. Don't speak, know what you see, so please stop explaining. Don't tell me 'cause it hurts. No, don't speak. I know what you're thinking, and I don't need your reasons. Don't tell me 'cause it hurts. Black money, let the money say amen. I'm just tryna make it clear, boy, Ray Bans. I'm a great man, whoa, say friend. I play a whole day night, DJ A-man, room full of bubbers. Tell him give me chopper, beat it up, number one, hit the covers. I'm S-A-T-E, who would like to know? 3545, large me through.
Slow down, grab the wall, wiggle like you're tryna make your lips fall off. Hella thick, I wanna smash them all now. Speed up, gas pedal, gas pedal, gas pedal, gas pedal, gas pedal. Speed up, gas pedal, gas pedal, gas pedal.
Bitch, I'm paid, that's all I gotta say. Can't see you little niggas, the money in the way. And I'm sitting high against the ride blaze. And if you ain't gon' ride fly, then you might as well hate. Shit, I gotta eat, yeah, even though I ain't. No, it ain't my birthday, but I got my name on that cake. Shit, believe that, and if the mans won't play, and I'ma fuck around and put the ball brains on the gate. Hey, pick 'em up, fuck 'em, let 'em lay. Where I'm from, we see a fucking dead body every day. That's uptown, throw a stack at 'em, make a song about me, I'm throwing shots back at 'em. Bitch, I'm a pipe, she like a crack addict, and she saw me cooking eggs, she thought I was back at it. Yeah, I grabbed my keys, ho, I gotta go, got my motorcycle jacket and my motorcycle low. On the Yamaha, chromed out 1100. What I'm doing, getting money. What we doing, hitting. What they doing, hating on us, but they never cross. Cash money still a company. And bitch, I'm the boss, and I be stunning like my daddy, stunning like my daddy, stunning like my daddy. I be stunning like my daddy. I'm the young stunner, stunning like my daddy, stunning like my daddy. I be stunning like my daddy. Shorty, 98, 45 paper plates, 10 the whole thing, big money, heavyweight, 100 stacks, spend 50 on the candy, 25 on the candy.
doing a sound test. Doing a sound test. Test. Can this be very quiet for you? Can you give us a sense about if you're hearing us clearly? Can someone hit the chat and tell us if you can hear me clearly?
Sweet 16 and we had arrived. Walking down the streets as they whistle high, high. Steering police cars with the senior guys. Teacher said we'd never make it out alive. There she was, my new best friend. Highs in her hands, swaying in the wind. Oh, she starts to cry, mascara running down her little Bambi eyes. Oh, now I hate those guys.
Another test. Test. Nico Walker.
For it's our cause. Don't cry about it, don't cry about it. This is what makes us girls. We don't stick together cause we put love first. Don't cry about it, don't cry about it.
Alright, well, you're gonna be listening to Crackhead Barney in the studio. For those who do not know, Crackhead Barney is a viral TikTok sensation ambush interviewer who can literally get, like, random white people on the street to say the N-word and shit, like, because they think that she's homeless. Like, she is the performance artist of our time. And if you haven't fucked with her yet, go ahead and check her out. Oh, she's outside right now. Oh, shit. We're live in the studio with Crackhead Barney. What's up, girl? Are we live on your, like, feed? Oh, well, what's up?
Hey, baby.
It's so good to have you. Why don't you come back here and I can set you up with a water and a charger. Anyway, well, thank you so much for coming on. Oh, your publicist Emily is coming. That's great. I can't wait to ask you about what it's like to have a publicist. Oh, well, you look rad. By the way, Barney, this is Samantha.
Hi,
Samantha runs...
Yeah, you put it on top. Here.
Oh no, something got deleted from your Instagram right now?
You know what? The fucking trolls are coming. We posted like an anti-trans, we troll Drag Story Hour. So, like, I have to moderate the comments. So a lot of people are coming to, like, fuck up the account. So I have to, like, now start blocking people, but I'm trying to come here. See what I'm saying?
I see. Wow. Thank you so much for making the time. I know you have, serious shit going on.
I posted today. It's, like, over 241 comments. So I have to, like, I was still going through it, but then, I was, like, underground, blah, blah. And then they just flagged something. I know you see this shit.
Yeah.
You see this shit? And then my fucking follower count. Look, I was posting like some crappy videos. Like, so the fourth, someone kissed my ass. It's 263K. Then it was low. Today is very high because we trolled the Drag Story Hour. Like, we're going against the right wing. Right. So trolls are coming.
The right wing trolls or the
right wing trolls are coming.
I thought you meant maybe the transsexual trolls.
Yeah. Maybe them too. So like, yeah, I have to like, have to like block, and I have to block.
Okay, well, if you want to set up and get comfortable for a second while you're doing that, we can wait. Yeah. Do you want me to wait until your publicist comes to start, or are we good?
You can just ask me questions.
Ask you some stuff.
Yeah, ask me some stuff.
Okay. Well, let's start from the beginning. So, you this morning, right, or yesterday, so basically there's this thing called Drag Story Hour, which is basically where drag queens read to young kids, and there was a protest outside of that event, and you went to troll the trolls, or you went to...
So you're explaining it, they can't hear me, right?
They can't hear you when you're not in front of the mic, but here we go. Ready?
Okay. So what happened was, Saturday we went to Drag Story Hour, like you said. It's younger people. So it's like kids coming to and have drag queens sort of like, oh, you're so sweet, Samantha. Okay, so drag queens come and like read to them. Okay, so the right-wing trolls came and they were like, trying to like fuck it up for them. So, of course, I came to troll the trolls. So it was like right wing on one side and then left on the other side. So, We edited a video. Me and my editor, Rabbi Stravinsky, we edited a video. Is this being filmed?
It's live stream.
Okay. Is it gonna be recorded later? Can they? Okay. So yeah. So we trolled the trolls. So now I post at 3:30 and I have to go through the comments. I want to start like blocking people because they already just flagged. They'll start like reporting my shit. So yeah, we just made them look like shit. But they already look like shit. So you know what they do? They chase the children after. They're like, so we're in front. The right wing pushed me to the left wing side. So, I want to stay on the right side because I want to get like interviews and shit. But I know a bunch of them and they know me. So I come and they're like, Crackhead, Barney. So we start cursing each other. We're cursing each other. I'm like, I'm going to put my finger in your ass. I'm going to fuck you like you should. I'm going to fuck you like, and make you my bitch. And I'm talking to men. And, they're like telling me to put on clothes, my nipples. I look like shit. They're calling me fat. They're like, my stomach is big. My ass is flat. They're going on and on and on about my body. Like, real like shit. And I'm like, your eyes are fake. You look like shit. You're short. Fuck you. I'm going to fuck you and make you my bitch. So we're going back and forth doing this shit. I don't want to talk. I don't want to like, what is that called? I don't want to like say like, the next episodes that we're going to drop. So we're going to do Nigga Claus. Because it's Christmas, and then interspersed it with Drag Story Hour. And my editor left me, but that's another story. My first editor left, so I'm working with my friend who I'm like kind of teaching. I want to say I'm teaching him editing because I'm teaching him how to edit and telling him what to do. So I'm teaching him how to edit. So he's editing the episodes, and I'm doing everything on myself, and we're demonetized. So I have to figure out how to make money.
Which is a challenge, but not a roadblock, as we say.
Exactly.
So what is it a secret? Like, can you like riff on like what you might be planning, or is it to be determined?
Oh yeah, to be determined. I don't like to talk shit into the future because it may not happen, and I feel like evil eyes, evil ears. I don't want to talk, but yeah, I'm trying to work with like some companies. But hold on. I want to work with some companies. I want to work with sponsorship. I don't, and they're not coming to me. And my TikTok is down because we like the last summer we doing some porn convention. That was so cool. They all TikTok what they did, they deleted the sound. It doesn't have sound. No sound. Yeah, community guidelines. And then they shut down the account, and then I had to go back and like appeal it. Yeah, my shit is dead. And then I had to appeal it, and then it's now back up, and now I have to log back in. And I logged back. I didn't log back in because I'm doing Instagram. I'm uploading like every fucking day to Instagram and Twitter and trying to like keep up with Instagram. But I'm gonna go back into Instagram, and TikTok, and then log back in. And then I have to perform and think of new ideas.
That's a lot. Like, so what is a typical, because that raises like, what is your schedule like? Like how do you stay organized? How do you continue like to keep up with your calendar and all the events that you need to hit when you want to do interviews? What's your advice for people who are trying to keep up with events?
You want to ask me for advice? Before, like during COVID and like COVID and when everyone was like rallying, I had like intel and people were nicer about information. Now people are fucking stingy. Like I'm literally breadcrumbing. I'm like, I have to like either get it last minute or be super lucky to get it. No one tells me shit anymore. Before people were like, oh Barney, pull up here, mayor's coming. Pull up here, he's coming here. Now no one tells me shit.
Because you have a reputation or because of COVID? Because people know like your shtick, or because why? I guess.
Maybe it's both. Maybe that they know that I'm gonna like come disrupt it, and then maybe the person who's giving me intel, they don't want to lose their side at the table because of me, so they'll be like, okay, I'm not gonna even invite her because they're gonna probably figure out that, oh, who is she fucking talking to? That she's.
You need your own deep throat, like your own person on the inside who's like, hey Barney, like show up at this place. And it's like anonymous, Maybe you need a burner, like an anonymous burner where people send tips.
So you're saying like a blog or something? Because I did have that person, but then they stopped.
Like a number that people can text. That's like.
Oh, like a Google, just like a fake throwaway number.
Yeah, it's like what journalists do. They like have like a phone number on their site or something, and it says "send us tips."
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe I should do that. Yeah, because I had someone and then they stopped. Okay, so send us tips, send us events. Okay, maybe I should do that. Get like a fake phone number.
It could be like 1-800-Crackhead Barney.
Okay, I have to pay for it though. Okay, I'll pay for it.
Honestly, like, I feel like I'm trying to get you a sponsor. Like, what if I got, like, okay, Misguided Spirits is a liquor company that sometimes I work with, and I feel like, what if they were to sponsor your show? I'm just like, I'm trying to get you some money because you're so brilliant. So how did you come to do what you do? Like, how did you come to follow around the right and, and yeah, what's the origin story? Where did Crackhead Barney become herself?
You know what? I was just telling my friend yesterday, my new editor. He was like, "Oh, he thought that my old editor was his idea." But I said, "No, it's my idea." You know what happened? So I remember DC, they would have the BLM rallies. So I was headed to DC on the bus, and I heard like a bunch of colored people. They were Hispanic and black, and they were talking about MAGA, and they were talking about how they lean right. They're like, "Yeah, I like this and this and that." And then, I lean left. And then I was like, you know what? I was originally going for BLM, but I was like, fuck that shit. It's gonna be more interesting if I go to the right and see what the fuck they're about and like tell them like fuck Trump, fuck this, fuck that. So I was a last minute decision, like on the as we were like about to turn the corner to go to DC to go to the BLM stuff. I was like, let me go to the red side because that's gonna make more sense. Like it's boring. I already know everything about the left. I already know that okay, they agree with me. Listen, I go to people that don't fucking agree with me. So I went there around December, I think 2020, and then I started like telling them, Trump sucks, like walking alongside MAGA people. And then I remember like some girl had to like hold like her granddaddy or uncle back. He wants to like beat me up. He's like, shut the fuck up. You shut up. I was like, yeah, Trump is garbage. Trump is bullshit. Mind you, I went with my Santa Claus jacket and I went with my Trump mask on my head. So this was that 2020. I did that. And then, so the whole day I went with my phone and I just started like saying, yeah, you guys are racist. The Proud Boys are racist. So I had like a bunch of Proud Boys coming. They were like, no, we're not racist. Look, we have black members here. We're white. It doesn't matter. We don't care. So they were doing all that. And so I would just go from, instance to instance, like just trolling the right. And I felt like, you know what? When I did it, it was funny. Like, they were, of course, dissing the fuck out of me, telling me, I was like opening my legs near this guy. He's from Pennsylvania. He's really inflammatory, really disgusting, really makes fun of everyone, women, homosexuals, bisexuals, black. He makes fun of everyone. So he was telling me I had like STDs. He was telling me like the devil's inside of me. They were preying on me. They were like, doing like, they were like, what is that? What's that thing called? Yeah, they were like trying to pull the demons out of me. So I thought that was amazing. I was like, imagine I had all this shit on film. Yeah. So then, I kept telling like, I remember there was an editor who wanted to work with me. And I kept telling him, fuck you, I don't want to work with you. But then I was like, you know what? Let me do something different. Nothing's happening in the streets. Nobody's outside. Let me do something new. So I was like, you know what? Come with me to the MAGA rally and film these people like cursing me out. He was like, no, we're going to get beaten. I'm like, no, it's not like that. Just whenever it get crazy, we leave. Because I went by myself. I'm sure with you it'll be a little bit better or whatever. So that was when we got the QAnon shaman and all that shit. Because I said, let's go and do something like, I just thought that little things that I was like, you know what? If I got that on film with like the right editor, it would be something new and something cool. And nothing was happening. So I'm like, why not? Fuck it, let's do that. And then I brought my friend Piggy, the NY Pig. I was like, yeah, let's all go to DC and just get like these like funny interactions with all these like racist people, these MAGA people that are on the other side. Like it's interesting. It'll create like good commentary. So that's how it happened. Actually happened by accident. It was a total accident. And then I was so shocked at the success of the show. And then also, I remember I did a podcast with like these like white boys from Long Island. And like the callers would call and curse me out. And I'm like, you know what? That'll be interesting. That was like what I wanted to do originally, like a podcast and then have like racist people call and curse me out. So I felt like if the MAGA thing was sort of like that, but in person. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's how Crackhead Barney was born. and Friends, that show. Here, let me see my publicist number.
Okay, cool. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know that was the first kind of iteration. Yeah. No, I mean, that was epic. Like, I remember, well, I think we met in almost exactly a year ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we met almost exactly a year ago because it was December 17th where we had our 3rd issue party and you came.
I wanted to work with you.
Yeah,
I kept
you came
begging
through.
you.
Yo, it was the best though,
I
and
kept
then we
begging
did.
you. I remember I begged you. I was like, I have to get in this fucking magazine. I knew about you guys before everything, but I think you ignored me. And then like maybe when I had like a name for myself, you're like, okay, then I want to work with her. But yeah, I was like begging to work with you. Where is this bitch? I'm outside. Hold on. Let me go get her.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, so I just didn't know what was up. But then when we met, you came through.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And that was fun. Like, oftentimes people will beg us and beg us and beg us, but I'm like, come to one of our events. That's the best way to meet us. So if anyone out there is trying to link with Dirty, the best way to do that is to come through Radio Bonita, because then we can meet in person. It's much, much easier. Hi. Oh my God, you're Emily, the publicist. Hi.
Emily's my publicist.
Oh my God, wow. Come on, come. Come behind the counter. You went to Brooklyn, Fulton Street. Okay, come. Yes, we're going to interview you too. We're going to interview you about what it's like to be a publicist. Okay, well, so we were just doing a little bit of like the origin stories of Crackhead Barney and the origin stories of Crackhead Barney and Dirty Magazine. And I was saying, always the best way to meet us is to come through. And you came through, and we ended up hanging out, and you came to our 3rd issue party where people were peeing on the ground, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wait.
And you met the Suck Lord.
Yeah. Okay. I went to 2 parties. I remember there was one where I was like super tired. I left early. Then I went to another one. The cops shut down. Yes. Yeah, that shit was good. It was fun, though, right? That shit was fun. Yeah. And then I met Over Manic? Are you associated Over Manic? Yeah. Over Manic was there, and then there was those DJs, those white boys. What's their names? With the DJ. Sex Pays, and then there's I like Fuck You. What was that? He made a Fuck You t-shirt. What the fuck?
Dak. No.
There's Dak. There's God. The white boys with the blonde hair.
Yeah, Sam.
Okay, Sam. Yeah. What's that their brand?
Wait, what are you talking about? Oh, Villainous?
Yes,
okay.
Villainous.
New York.
I saw them in Miami. Yeah, and then they're awesome. Yeah, so I went to that party. I went to several parties of yours, and I always wanted to work with you. I was like, I want to be in Dirty Magazine. And then I was in it. Yeah. But I want to be on the front cover. That's okay.
That's going to happen.
Okay, good.
That's what's up.
And you know?
God is my witness. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
The publicist is spoken. You will be on the cover of Dirty Magazine. Mark my words. Thank you.
Or Vogue. Oh, okay, I'm loud.
Vogue's next.
Okay, Vogue is next.
Okay, so... Emily, do you want to come back? You sure you come so that you can sit? Because you can take one of the stools and then... Okay, great. It's all good. It's family style here. Okay, so we talked about the origin story. We talked about you and Dirty. Okay, so basically, so my colleague... Barney needs Jesus.
So then that's what...
I mean, Barney has Jesus. I feel like you're doing God's work. Here's how I really feel.
I want to block this person.
Yeah, okay. Well, so... for people who don't know, I'm here in the studio also with Samantha Sutcliffe, who runs Uncensored New York, and I think that she has some questions for you also, because her work is all about, it's very like anti-cancel culture, censorship, like programming, and also very much about finding solutions to interpersonal conflict that don't involve, rejecting people from your community and trying to address the root problems of violence, et cetera, et cetera. Conflict resolution, transformative justice, and restorative justice. Wow, we finally need it. Okay, so if you are interested, you could ask a question.
I think one of the questions I have is, what do you think about like the current state of media right now, or even more so like like hate in media? That's what I've been thinking a lot about, like how it generates profit.
Meditations on hate, media, and profit.
Right now, oh my God, I feel like, Instagram is becoming like, I can't even post like what I really, really want to post. I feel like It depends what side of hate you're on. I think that like white supremacy gets a like bypass. If you're like white supremacist and like a piece of shit, you get bypassed, and they're like, oh, it doesn't like violate community guidelines. But I think that if you do are for the right thing, let's say if you're like pro trans lives, pro Black Lives Matter, you're probably gonna get like shitted on. It depends what side of hate you're on. I think the yeah, if you're like, yeah, if you try to express your body in a healthy way, like all my posts, oh my God, I'm scared to post. I'm kind of nervous to post what I just posted because I feel like I don't want to get the account shut down. You know how many fucking times that account got shut down? I think the next time it gets shut down, they're not going to be fucking nice. It depends what side of hate you're on. I don't know. I think that like if for you to make money on media, you have to post like the nice. You know, TikTok just wants to see like fucking dance challenges all the fucking time. And it's like geared towards like a younger audience. They like my shit. People know me off TikTok more than Instagram. So it does travel. But I think that now that they know that I'm political and they know the agenda that I'm pushing, I'm really getting stopped a lot. I'm really getting like red taped and redlined a lot. How do I bypass it? I have no fucking clue. Just keep going.
Well, you also have like you have your show, you have like other platforms that aren't Instagram that people get directed to, right? Like from like you take that traffic and you turn it into like your podcast and your TV show and stuff, so that there is like kind of a redirection possibility.
I'm trying. I need to get back on my podcast grind. Need to get back on that. You have a question?
Oh no, I was just gonna say that it's like so. It's sort of working like we are relying on something that won't let us express ourselves.
Exactly, and that's like the fucking problem. It's such a headache. It's so stressful. I don't know what to do. People are telling me I'm doing God's work, and I'm just getting pulled in so many different directions. People are like, "Oh, you're doing great. You're doing great," but I see my fucking follower counts drop, and I see like my traction getting like pulled away from me. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I have no fucking clue. That's why when we say give advice. I need advice. You want to give advice, Emily?
Well, that's why you have a publicist, right? Okay, let's connect the dots. I'll work it up. Listen, this is all about messaging, right? Because messaging is so important. So let's talk about what happens when we're on the street. Like people think Barney's a real legit crackhead. Like clearly she's not. Let's go back and read like her Wikipedia page. You know, get a little glimpse of Barney the dinosaur is a part of this. Like she was in the September 6th, rallies interviewing. She gets arrested by the cops, and they send her to a psychiatric institute because of her name, Crackhead Barney. Let me tell you, she had that was Staten Island. Okay, well, both stories.
It was so fun.
I'm so glad you. Yes, but like legit. So here.
I was stuffing the American flag down my pants.
Wait, you got arrested in Staten Island?
Yeah, they almost stomped on me to death.
Well, my mom lives in Staten Island, so there you go. Well, that's like Cop Central. That's like where.
It was basically a cop rally in the parking lot. And it was a MAGA rally in the parking lot.
Well, I mean, unless you're Irish or Italian, you're going to fucking jail.
I was trying to tell them I'm Irish and Italian, but they didn't believe me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't
They arrested her and sent her to the psych ward. Like,
it was so funny.
I mean,
it was so funny. It was so funny because all my friends were afraid to perform. I was like, fuck that shit. Oh, I was like, fuck that shit. Let's start fucking performing. And then that shit happened. I remember. Okay, so this is what happened. We were it was our first episode. I went with two editors, Piggy, it was me, and his girlfriend. And we're like, yo, let's just start fucking like they were scared. They're like, no guys, we're like the only like BLM. Everyone is really in red hats. Staten Island, Cop Central, Trump rally in a parking lot. They were amplified. They were like pissed. So we walk in there and we acted like we're normals. I was like, God, fuck this shit. Just let's start. So then I had put my Trump mask on, and then I started stuffing the American flag down my panties. And then I think I took it out, and then they took it, and then they threw it. And then they threw it, and then they started like fighting with me like a tug of war. And then Piggy had to cover me because then they wanted to like murder me at that point. I had to cover me because the mob was coming, like an Italian mob was coming. And then I had like these black dolls in a stroller, and we got separated obviously because the cops pulled me away. Me and the dolls got separated. Me and the dolls got separated, and then And then and then after that, my friends scattered because the mob came after them. They're like, so you're with her? And then they all had to like run for their lives. And then when they knew that they were with me, they took the white people took the dog. They were like stuffing it and banging it into the dumpster.
What do you think about organized crime, like in general?
Are you talking about like Young Thug, YSL, or like Mafia, Gambino family, like?
Well, I'm curious about like mafia, but I am curious about also.
Okay, so
Like the mob, yeah.
okay, so listen. You what do they say? You have to know the pick your poison, or you have to know like the monster. Like I'm sure there's origins as to why and how it came about. Maybe because the family needed money, the government wasn't supporting them. And like I'm sure like that's how like the Mexican drug cartel, like the Mexican drug cartel's bigger. The police are working for them. So the government is basically not funding or feeding the people, and then the people need money and resources. So these organized crime families have to support the community. So that's really like the origin of how it came about, in my opinion. Same thing probably with Young Thug YSL. Maybe they feel like they're not getting the resources that they want from big corporations or the government, so they create their own cartel. They create their own government system. It's basically run like a government too. It's basically run like a corporation. They have their own language. They have their own currency. They have their own rules. They have their own specific ways of interacting and acting. Anything could be a cartel. Shit, Crackhead Barney and Friends could be a fucking cartel. Yeah, they could think that it could be like a fucking organized crime, cause I'm getting all these people like, yeah, fuck, yeah. That also you have to also think like that. Like I'm starting a movement. Like the thing is that you don't think you're powerful though. I don't think I'm powerful. I think I'm bullshit. Like people like this weekend, this guy, he's like, thank you for doing everything you're doing. Thank you for speaking for my community. I'm like, no, I didn't. Did I? Like I don't think I'm doing shit. I just feel like I'm being myself. I just feel like I'm being myself. I don't feel like I'm doing anything. I've always been like this. I've always like loud and like unapologetic. So I don't really feel like I'm doing anything. When people tell me I'm doing something, I'm like, oh, okay. So you think I'm doing organized crime?
Well, no, I just was kind of curious what your riff was. So are you going to I don't know anything about your family or anything. Are you going home for the holidays?
Oh yeah, I'm close with my family. They don't like what I do. They hate what I do. So I'm Nigerian. You know Boko Haram? Like the fucking religious Muslim, like Nazis. I'm from that area. So my cousin called me. He was like, dude, everyone is watching you. Because he knew everything that I did. He was like, oh, he's watching my Miami stories. He was like, everyone, like, it's called Maiduguri. It's in Kano, like northern Nigeria. He's like, everyone is watching your stories. I think he's watching it. My really strict uncle found my page. He's like a right-wing. He's like a male chauvinist. Like, he has like 2 wives. We're probably 3 now. All these kids. He thinks women belong in the kitchen. He told my aunt, go in your office. He's like, the kitchen. He's like, yeah, and he knows like how I am. He's like, oh, you're gonna defend your auntie now? Because he knows like I will like go crazy. I'm like, don't talk to her like that. He knows like I'm American. I come with like this American attitude, even though I'm like in Nigeria in the middle of like, it's not that bush like, but
You live in Staten Island?
it's not in the bush. What'd you say?
You live in Staten Island?
I know. He acts like a Trumper. He acts like a person from Staten Island, but he's not. He's from Nigeria, but they sort of share that attitude, like, we belong in the kitchen. You should get married. What are you doing? So that's where I come from. Like, you have to get married before you're 30 and have kids and blah, blah, blah. And I haven't done anything like that. I kind of want to have a kid, but that's another story. I don't think anyone wants to have a kid with me. Or maybe I'm barren. I don't know. I don't want to.
What if you were going to be a parent, like what would be what are the things you'd want to teach your kids, like for the next generation? Like what are some things that you think are like really necessary for the next generation to know?
Break through everything. Like if you want to like, cause like, you know what? Teachers have always like laughed at my shit, have told me I couldn't do this, couldn't do that. Don't listen to anybody. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Do whatever the fuck you, not like don't like hurt people, don't like shoot up a school, but like, sort of like, if you have like a creative genius, yeah, don't shoot up a school, not yet. Yeah, not yet. But like I'm just saying, like if you have like a creative genius idea, don't let society or people or community tell you that you suck. Because my whole life people have been telling me that I suck. My ideas suck. They're too weird. You're too dumb. You're too this. I've always been told I'm too loud. I'm too strong. I'm too aggressive. I'm too. Don't listen to any of that shit. Fuck that shit. Just be yourself. It's hard, but don't listen to that shit. You have to like you have to like create like different people that live inside you.
Totally. My mom used to say like, "Oh yeah, you teach your kid to be an anarchist, and then like they end up like coming for you. Like you end up being like the structure." But that's just what it takes. And yeah, I think that's a really good point to like to have the next generation just be really like, there's like this isn't inevitable. Like things don't need to be this way. Like we can change this. Like, and that's kind of like what's really special about how like young brains work is they're not like wired to like predict things. So they're like, it could be different. I haven't yet learned all the rules, which means that I can challenge them, which I think is a really cool methodology. Anyway, but Giovanni, would you like to ask some questions?
Let me come around. Here, take the mic.
Emily, you want to talk? I could talk forever, but you should also talk about trans lives.
Oh, okay.
We talked
Oh, did you talk about that?
a little bit.
I feel like
You mean about the drag story?
no trans lives, like the protests. That's actually how.
Yeah, like
Queen Jean,
is amazing.
and like because you were talking about youth and just connecting and community, and this was something that they did like every Thursday. Barney was like.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge fan of Queen Jean. I was just talking to her earlier today. Okay, Queen Jean, she's a black trans activist. Every Thursday during COVID, she would host Trans Lives. She would host Trans Lives Matter every Thursday at Stonewall Inn, and it was just like a great community space. We'd laugh, we'd dance, we'd talk. She fed people. She brought people together from all races, walks of life, and she's just an amazing person. She just came out with a book, I think with MoMA PS1. I want to buy it. I'm gonna promote it.
We shut shit down. Like
Yeah.
Bridges down. Like we had hundreds of cops attacking us. Like Barney was a part of it. Like that's what I mean. Is a black woman. Like there's just I don't know what that was. Anyway, so when Barney will be like, oh my god. I mean the things that she does compared to like what most people
Like I don't think I'm even in any comparison with Queen Jean. Like I don't even think I'm like, cause I feel like she's serious and I'm sort of like ooh, like I don't give a fuck. But she gives a fuck, and I think that's what makes her a giant. And I don't even think I could stand next to Queen Jean, but
stop. Well, you're an influencer in like the LGBTQ community. Like you are. Like people fucking look up to you like crazy. You showed up
I don't see it.
Like, it's empowering. Like, oh my god, people follow you around the city. Like when you go out and go to photo shoots with Barney, like if you're a real New Yorker, like you know who Crackhead Barney and Friends is, right? And like people again, like the messaging part where you have to again, no, she's not on crack. Like check her out. Like let's hear the backstory, and that's a publicist's job, right? To get the messaging out, and that's where it all kind of changes. But yeah, you're inspirational in the streets. It's the truth. I'm there. I see it. Like I'm not making that shit up. Okay.
Were there any protests that you went to that were on the left that you got kind of kicked out of or kind of shunned from?
That's a good question.
Because you talked about like being in the right and like kind of going to this, getting, just harassed or them yelling at you while you were like, fuck Trump. But I'm curious to know if there was any protests here that were on like the left side of things that they were like, whoa, like, no, you can't do this.
Yeah, I think there was one. I think the Palestinian one. There was a Palestinian one. I think so. I got backstory. Then you told me after. I mean, you remember like we went to like was it Bensonhurst or Bay Ridge? Remember that park we would go to?
Deep one. Yeah, there was a big pro-Palestine march, right, in like deep South Brooklyn.
Oh, not that one, but there was like a smaller one in the park, I think. And I think I was like throwing red paint on myself and like spitting it out, and like the cops kept moving back. And someone said that somebody, like the left or the Palestinian people, they kind of didn't like what I was doing because, I don't know, maybe, we got some backlash because they didn't like that we would yell at police. And they felt that they wanted to be friends with the police because they had like a lot of undocumented people. And they felt like if they did that, the police would come after them. So they felt like our approach wasn't good, like yelling at police and because they said that they had businesses and they had undocumented people. So we did that would create like more trouble for them. So a lot of BLM people were like, well, we're not gonna go then. And then there was another reason. What was the other reason? That was a big one. They were really.
Yeah, would have to have the like activations that we're doing are against like looking up badge numbers and calling out dirty cops. Like there's a lot of strategy actually.
And they didn't like that shit. We kept telling them like, yo, they're like the IDF. They're with the IDF. They're like pro-Israel. And the NYPD is connected to the IDF and the Israeli movement. They didn't want to hear it. They were like, if you're gonna do that, don't fucking come. And I think I did something and they didn't like it. So that was that. And then I think I heard another intel. They were like, who's that weird girl? But then that's it.
But what about like the way girls on the street react to you? Like
oh yeah,
Santa, right? Like
yeah.
It's like, well, you say it. What do you?
I don't know. You tell me. You know what? I don't look at her. I know girls don't like me. They're like, what the fuck is she doing? And a lot of guys don't like me either. But like, what the fuck is she doing? Yeah, they don't like what I do.
No, I think they secretly do like you and want to be you, and that's why they're like, oh, like I mean, this is women's liberation. That's like part of who you are.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I think that this is a good point. So there's, because I heard a couple things that I want to parse out. One, she's not actually on crack. Because like, yeah, okay, sure, but like, why not listen to like crack users are like a part of New York City history.
Yeah.
There is a reason why like the crack epidemic happened. I feel like there's a lot that you're saying even by like using that as a part of your handle, like personality, whatever. And so like even if you were like, obviously there's like it's provocative. Yeah. You're you're kind of placing yourself as a product of like a whole history in relation to the war on drugs, also like using a children's character to like, to like amplify the message that creates like a provocative message, right? But also like your whole aesthetic and is a choice, right? Like everything that anyone does when they walk out the door and how they they present themselves is a part of their own performance. And it seems like, like people get antagonistic, like it pisses people off in all respects of life because maybe like you're making it more obvious, similar to the way that like people get upset when they see, not similar, but like related to how people get upset when they see like trans people on the street because they're like, what the fuck? Like you're breaking the rules. But like ultimate, which is like maybe also why like in my opinion you are like such an awesome character that is like a part of a tapestry of like LGBTQ life and lifestyle because that the idea of having your own character is something that lots of people do, right? Like as a part of finding themselves. Anyway, I'm kind of riffing, but the point is that like, well, how do you see yourself, your own presentation, and I'm not gonna say like character because I don't know if you think about yourself that way, but like how did it form, and do you think about some of these things in terms of like the use of crackhead, the use of like just how do you feel about it?
You know what? I didn't really care until people started talking about it. They're like, "Oh, you're making fun of like crackhead, and you're like not monetizing, like sort of like making fun of it." And I didn't think of it like that because I had one eye on the Barney costume, and I'm super skinny, skinnier than Barney. I'm not skinny. They called me fat this weekend, so I'm skinnier than the regular Barney. So they would call me crackhead Barney. So as I was what?
I'm trying to say you're stacked. You're really hot.
I know, but I didn't.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think so.
Who was offended by the crackhead comment?
You know what?
Who was offended?
Like some black people were offended, and then there was some like
a respectability angle?
maybe respectability. A lot of black people get super uncomfortable with my performance because of the respectability. You're making black people look bad. We had to fight especially like the older ones, like from the 60s. Like we had to fight so hard.
I think that's because crack in the late 70s throughout the 80s affected the black and Spanish communities. So
Yeah, they're like you're making.
especially New
Yeah, like you're making black people look bad. We had to fight so hard. What are you doing? You're like sort of like destroying like this image of like what a black woman is. But that's the whole point. You're supposed to destroy what the fuck the image of what a black woman is. I mean, what the fuck is a black woman? How does a black woman act? How does a white woman act? You can act any way the fuck you want. It depends. Like it's how you perceive it and how you express yourself. So yeah, there is the respectability politics and that they're making fun of something. But you know what? You could take ownership back into it, like nigger. You could say nigga. Like you're taking ownership back into crackhead. You're taking ownership back into the negative association with it. Being a crackhead, I don't know. I just like the name because it's provocative. It's attention. I'm an attention whore. I like attention, and I get the attention with the name. And people don't believe me. They're like, no way, that's your fucking name. And they're like, oh shit, that's her really fucking name on Instagram. It's really Crackhead Barney. So I like that. I like to shock. I like shocking. I'm an exhibitionist. I'm a histrionic. I like shocking. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you hit on a lot of things. Yeah. So you also you studied art, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about? So I always look at the door as if someone's gonna come in, but there's nothing. Yeah, it's the mafia vibes. But yeah. So yeah, can you? No. Well, I've been saying I'm the Rachel Dolezal of being Italian.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, I was gonna ask about your art practice. You know, you were an art student. Any what was your favorite art movement?
Ooh, that's a great question. I remember I really liked surrealism and Dadaism. I really liked Dada because they would like break down.
Oh, you're so Dada.
Yeah, I really liked it. And like, what was it, the post World War II? And like how they would like sort of like go against like the government and like were they going against surrealism?
Oh, like the
They're going against surrealism, right? Yeah, realism, not surrealism. But it was an extension of surrealism, right? It was like a even more like unfeathered, like more like crazier form of surrealism. Like it came out of the surrealism. Right?
Your performances though are kind of that I've seen are very Gunter Bruce. Like, do you know Otto Mule?
Yeah, I think I heard of him. Yeah.
These are old surrealists. Actually, being an actionist.
Yeah, so like I remember I loved Dada, I like surrealism, I like theater. I remember Bertolt Brecht.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very Brecht.
Yeah, I thought about. Yeah, I thought about him and all that shit. I guess it's, the sad part is like it's very European leaning. Mm-hmm. It's very European. And then sometimes when I thought about like my education, I'm like, shit, that's probably why I get along with white kids. I was like, is that why I get along with white kids? Because, like, they went to art school. I got educated, like, in a white space with, like, a white, because, like, all these, like, philosophers, they're European, like Kant and Hume. And they sort of, like, those were, like, artists. They sort of got, like, their thinking from these white artists. And then I was like, wait, I hang out with, like, a lot of white art studios.
Yeah. I think that's interesting point that you're making with, like, because there's a lot of white performance artists from the 70s.
Yeah.
And also 60s. Like, you don't really see too many from the 70s and 80s, even the 90s that are like black performance artists like Coom Transmissions or, Genesis Peorage from the 70s. And I think it's interesting that you're, a woman of color in New York.
Yeah.
And doing it, because there's not many white people even doing it anymore. Matthew Silver's. Yeah, there's like, there used to be more, but it's good that you're kind of, I'm sorry. Ripley wants to say something.
Oh no, I mean, Adrian Piper comes to mind. I don't know if you like.
She's black.
Yeah, she's black. I mean, I don't really know. Okay, so she had a whole thing because she was passing. Like she would always say like her whole piece. I don't know if she's actually biracial, but she had a piece of art that was like, because a lot of people would hang out around her and say a bunch of racist shit because they thought that she wasn't. They were like, "Oh, you're white."
I think she's light skinned. Yeah.
And she's like lighter than high yellow. Like she's yeah. Okay, whatever. But you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. But she had a business card that she would hand out or leave places that was like, "Dear friend, I'm black." Like you might not have known that when you said that racist thing, but like here, da 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 da. And similarly, like she had one that was like, that she would give to guys at bars who tried to hit on her. That was like, don't, like, I'm not here to get picked up, like type of, like, just like a little calling card. Anyway, but she did a lot of like further than Cindy Sherman. Like hers was like conceptual art, like very much in your wheelhouse. And so when I think about like performance artists and conceptual artists who like are Black women who like paved the way, even if it's not a part of your zeitgeist, like you're not super familiar with her work, like it's really cool how people end up doing similar things even when they're not like directly a part of the same movement or familiar with each other's work. So I think that that's really inspiring, like to then like look back at an archive and be like, oh shit, like I didn't even know, but people have been doing this, and that's really like fucking awesome.
One thing that was bothering me, so like I have like a huge white audience because I have like, because white people, or like I was groomed near white people and educated near white people. And then sometimes I think like, who am I performing for? Am I performing for white people? And then sort of it goes into the coon sphere. Being a coon, right? Like, shucking and jiving, so she doesn't know. Like being a coon, like shucking and jiving. So like back then, like slavery, like Uncle Tom, remember this black people? Yeah, so like Black people perform for white people. So the old slang, yeah. So like, so sometimes like, yeah, so like I could also be thought of as a coon. Like, I always tell myself I have a coonometer. Like, like how much cooning am I gonna do? And how like performance art, but when does it start becoming cooning? When do I start like performing only for white audiences? So I have to also be careful of that. I don't know, like there's a lot to like weigh with this. I don't know, like and then remember the male gaze. There's a male gaze. There's a white male gaze. There's like, I don't know. It's like, it's weird. I always, it doesn't bother me a little bit, because I'm like, who the fuck am I performing for? Am I performing for white people? Am I performing for myself? Am I performing for inside of me? And the thing is that who lives inside of me? Because if I'm being educated from a white male gaze, then who the fuck's eyes am I seeing from? Because if I'm being am I being told like, okay, you're supposed to perceive it like this and look at it like that, then who the fuck is really inside of me? I don't know. Sometimes I think about that. And Adrian Piper is educated. Yeah. So like all these artists, so maybe she also has the white male gaze inside of her as well. But I think that she shouldn't tell people she's Black, so she could get like elicit more like truth from them, and then be like, aha, I think that. Like, I can't do that. I'm Black. But people still do racist shit. Yeah, the Dirty Magazine party. Remember the one that we had, the one that got rescheduled? Like, this white girl. She's like, oh, my God, Barney, there's Black people outside. I don't know how to talk to them. Can you come outside and talk to them for me? She did that. I don't even know. Some white girl. Some white bitch at the fucking dirty. Yeah, she's like, Barney, please come talk to these Black people. I don't know how to talk to them.
That's like when you see like a white girl on the train. There's a Black actual crackhead that gets on the train, scares the shit out of the white girl.
Oh, okay. So she like doesn't know how to talk to them.
Doesn't know how to talk to them. Exactly. Terrified. That's something that I see a lot. I think that you probably see too, because you're on the train a lot, right? Because I've seen you on the train like so many times. Yeah. Especially the L. I used to see you with your Trump mask and your baby carriage, right? And
no,
I think
like,
at one.
You not see that
I think
it's
it.
Hilarious.
I know.
No, for real. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't make the white people uncomfortable. God forbid.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting that you're saying that you make a lot of the Black community uncomfortable. Yeah, the older Black community, which is which I've and younger, they don't know what the hell's going on exactly,
that's the whole point.
And I think it's maybe. Do you think it's because a lot of the older white or younger white community has gone to like were able to go to art school and experience like theater and like performance artists and learn about that stuff? Do you think that's like maybe a reason why they were able to get an education and have all these kind of like tools and influences and
you go to shows all the time.
Yeah. Because I think that like a lot of like the lower class or like a lot of oppressed communities, they don't get to experience a lot of that, because they don't have the resources. Do you think that's true, or is it half truth?
Yeah, I think that has a huge part to do with it. I don't think they're lower community. They're just disadvantaged in that they weren't educated like in a college or a space for like higher education. So I think that's why they haven't been exposed to performance art. And I think that one thing that that's one thing that I liked. I got rejected from the art world a lot. So I stopped fucking performing for them, like applying to grants, trying to get into the new museum, trying to be a part of their world. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna take my performance art and just give it to the whole fucking world. That's why I started performing on the subway and started performing online and making like a channel because the art world didn't give a fuck about me. They didn't want me in their shit. So that's why I do it so freely in the streets because I was like, fuck it. Somebody gotta look at this shit, not just me.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's such a huge gift to the world, you know? Like, I think we all are so blessed that you're like out here doing your thing. Like, I feel like I've learned so much just from like watching you be so unapologetically yourself. And like, I don't think that everyone could do what you do. And that's like what makes you an artist, like, and a talent, you know? Like when you're like, when Emily's saying like you're an influencer, you know, like people do look up, like you are showing people like what it means like to stand up for what you believe in, like have be committed to something, even, you know, like whether it's your essence, for lack of a better word, or no, because I'm really trying to stay away from this idea that it's a character, right? Like I don't, okay. I'm just trying to say like and I don't want to say shtick because that feels like reductive, but like, you know, you're very committed. You wake up every day. You have a plan. You know what you're gonna do. Yeah. You have a schedule, and that's why I started by asking like, you know, how do you keep your schedule? Because you're a bit, you know, because you're an entrepreneur. And you're a content creator, and you're an artist, and like I think you should be treated that way. That's why when I had you in the magazine, I was like, I would like to have her interviewed like a public intellectual, like who, you know, like as if she's like a Chomsky or whatever.
Yeah, you wanted them to take me seriously.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You have a whole like character. You said you want, yeah. You didn't want like the whole like Trump mask. And remember, I was trying to like gear it towards that. You're like, no, I want you to be taken seriously. I don't want you to be taken like, you know, a caricature.
Yeah, and that's also okay, but I wanted you to get one feature where people were like, this is a person that you should be taking seriously and listening to. Yeah. And that I think it has followed, you know? Like and even being like even having you in your sort of like you know the pin curl wig, like very Maryland, like, you know, like, okay, no, this is also an icon, you know, like who should be treated that way. And like Emily said, like every New Yorker, every real New Yorker knows who you are. And it should be like one of those checklists, you know, that's like, did you see Crackhead Barney before you like graduated? Yeah, exactly. Oh, and we have Rachel Rabbit White in the building. Outside we have Nico Walker, the author of Cherry. Rachel Rabbit White is the author of Paradise Edition, Porn Carnival, and other incredible little projects. We're going to have them on next. But, maybe Rachel has some questions for you. Oh, yeah, you missed it. What the hell? Here, but ask a question.
Well, what have you guys talked about so far? Sorry, just got you real fast.
Talking about like do you know who I am?
Yes.
Oh yeah, so we're talking about
You're an icon, of course. No, I don't think we got to meet in real life. Maybe briefly.
Okay, we're talking about my episode that just dropped. We trolled the Drag Story Hour, the people that were trolling it like the right wing, and they're coming to like talk shit on my page. So I wanted to like moderate it and block all the fucking trolls.
Yeah.
And then they start talking about our career and me getting like taken away by police and trolling, and that's it. And bullshit. Yeah, we talked about our favorite art movements.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just love the stories about, like, I can't remember who was saying when they met you and you were, like, on the subway and just, like, not afraid to fuck with people. And, like, how it's just, like, with you, it's, like, you're living your art kind of 24/7. It feels like when you're in public, when you're in New York City, it's, like, and that's what you're saying about New York City icon. It's kind of like you belong to the city because as long as you're out and you're doing it, like, the art's happening, you know?
Yeah, you guys are being so sweet. Yeah, we love you. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I'm obsessed. I don't know. I guess I'm curious though about like what you're doing with what you're talking about with the trolls and blocking them and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so like when is it get emotional for you when you do that, or you just like, do you get hyped up about it?
No,
like.
No, I get like as Stephanie? Samantha, like literally while I was trying to like block, they just flagged a post. I'm so used to it. I'm scared of the account getting shut down because I had to always I have to literally fight with Instagram.
But you get like upset, like visibly upset.
Oh yeah.
You have to compartmentalize.
I get super straight. Like my whole day gets ruined. My whole day gets ruined. My whole aura gets ruined. I can't talk about anything else all day. I'm just talking about my account, my account, my account. No, I visibly am fucking upset, and like it hurts me to the core. Cause it's like my whole life. You see, that's the thing with art. Are you supposed to like put your energy and your whole ass in like an app? Are you supposed to put all your meaning into an app? We're supposed to put your meaning into. See, that's also dangerous. That I have to like my security blanket is fucking Zuckerberg.
You can't put your art into the app because the app doesn't let you express yourself to the way that you want to, or your account gets shut down.
And then the thing is that, like, I'm an attention whore. I like comments. I like the fighting. I like people going back, and I love good conversation. I love when people are like, fuck you, trans lives matter, fuck you, it doesn't. I love the conversation under. I'm sad that I have to actually block people. Like, I want people to curse each other out under the comments. I want people to curse me the fuck out under the comments. I don't believe in censoring fucking speech. Like, I want people to get riled up. That's the whole fucking point. Like, you have to live. Like, your blood should be boiling. Yeah, like, your blood should be fucking boiling. Like, you should be looking at shit and just being like, okay, have an opinion about it. Like, I don't like what she's doing. I hate what she's doing. I love what she's doing. That's why I do it, because I want you to have a fucking opinion.
I love that. What I'm getting out of this is, like, you really encourage conflict, which I feel like create space for it, which, like, right nowadays, as we all know, people do not like conflict. Yeah. People do not know how to deal with conflict. They think like, okay, I had a conflict. I can't talk to that person ever again. It's it's a problem. So I have a question for you. On a personal note, how do you deal with conflict in your everyday life? What do you do when you get into a fight with a friend or a family member or a partner? I'd like to bring it back to the personal because, you know, like, people want to know. People want to know about you, you know? So tell us. So you get into it, you and your best friend go to the movies, you get in a fight about, they like Milk Duds and you like Twizzlers or whatever, a real conflict about like, okay, well, so-and-so hooked up with someone that I liked, or you had a political disagreement. How do you deal with that?
It depends. There's certain deal breakers that I have. So, do you remember a guy I went with to the Dirty Magazine party, the light-skinned black guy? The guy was, so, he's refusing to give me that magazine. That's why I keep asking you, Rippy. I'm like, yo, let me get another. He's refusing to give me that magazine. He throws my shit he threw my shit out of the house because I had a guy pick up the phone. He's stupid. He's like Puerto Rican. He like is a machismo, macho man. So I had a guy pick up the phone. He got so fucking mad. He refuses to give me that's my only copy of Dirty Magazine. I'm gonna go buy a bunch. But he's refusing to give me that magazine. I keep fighting with him. He keeps being so mean, so disgusting. His dick is really good, so I keep fucking him. But I blocked him finally because he keeps comparing me to his fucking ex. Yeah. He's like, my ex is prettier than you. She's young. Yeah!
No, it's not true.
Yeah. He was like, she's prettier than you. She's younger than you. He's like, you're gonna be old. You're gonna be barren. No one's gonna marry you. You're not gonna have kids. So I am a stickler for abuse. Obviously, I like some type of abuse. So I keep going back, but I blocked him finally. But I may unblock him and keep fucking him or whatever. But I think I'm gonna try new dick though, because it's getting too much. So I'm bad. I kind of put up with abuse. I'm a little bit of a sadist or masochist. I kind of put up with the abuse, but it can only go so far. Like, so I had a white girlfriend that I used to hang out with all summer. She started dating an ex of mine. I stopped talking to her.
Okay, that's data. This is all good information. Yeah. I had one last question before we close up, or a couple more questions, but I'll try for one. And now I forget what it was. Damn. Okay, it was really funny though. It was something having to do. You were talking about. Are you on the hunt? You said you're looking for new dick maybes. Are you on the hunt? Are you single? Oh. Can I set you up with someone? If someone wanted to ask you on a date, how would they go about it? What's your ideal situation?
Thank you. Okay, yeah. I'm looking for dick. Yeah, set me up. I want to date someone famous or semi-famous or on the come up. I told myself, 2023, no bums. No, I keep fucking with people that like tell me that I'm bullshit. You know, this guy, the guy that had we were like tonguing and shit. You know what he does? He's like he's a narcissistic like personality disorder. He'll put me down and then be super sweet to me. So it's like a pendulum swing. So he's constantly taking me through these highs and lows. He's like super nice to me and then we'll just drop my self-esteem and tell me I'm a piece of shit the next day. I'm just like, wait a minute, you're just saying you love me. You want to have my baby. Now you're telling me I'm a piece of shit? He's like, your channel's bullshit. You're a bullshit. He was like, you think you're going to do that forever? Look at you. You're old. And I'm just like, listen, get me somebody. Whatever, just email me or you have my shit. Just contact me.
Okay, I'm gonna set you up. Awesome. So, hit the DMs if you're trying to go on a date with Crackhead Barney, because I'm trying to set her up with a nice guy, you know. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on air.
Thank you.
This was so fun. Give me a big hug.
Oh, yeah,
You're
you.
my favorite.
Oh, thank you.
No, for real. It's always such a pleasure, and I'm so excited for the many collabs that are to come. We should more collabs to come. It might be New Year's Eve, but it also might be in March. We'll see.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know you have to. You're the head of everything.
I'm what?
You're the head of everything.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much. You've been listening to Radio Bonita, the anti-imperial radio for the New York City Underground. That was Crackhead Barney.